Can't stop thinking about cigarettes? Are you one of those people that even if you've quit for a week, or maybe you've quit for 3 or 4 months, that you cannot stop thinking about cigarettes? You wake up in the morning thinking about cigarettes. You go to bed at night thinking about cigarettes. You have cigarettes on your mind. If that's you, this video is for you. We are going to explain what is going on in our minds. And if you stay to the end of this video, we will explain to you the only 2 ways that we know of in neuroscience to actually stop this from happening for the rest of your life. If this video is helpful to you, please join my YouTube channel, subscribe, like and share, and hit the notification button. We put 2 new videos on YouTube every week about how to quit smoking, and it will notify you when we've posted them. Join my Facebook page and join my Instagram. Now let's hop right in.
So the big question is, how do smokers like us beat the odds and quit for life? How do we quit with no craving, no withdrawal, and never ever have a single drag, draw, or puff of a cigarette again? That is the question, and this channel is designed to give you the answers. My name is Ted Bradley. Welcome to the secret to quitting smoking for life.
Okay, here's what the very first thing we have to do. I know if you have watched my other videos on how the mind works and how smoking works on the mind, you will remember this. For those of you that haven't, just a really quick thing just so you understand. Okay, in neuroscience, one of the ways that we look at the brain is we divide it into 3 parts. If there aren't 3 parts, you only have one mind. It just has explanatory power, okay? We have conscious thoughts, which is the red circle. We have unconscious thoughts, which is the blue circle, and they're separated by something called the critical faculty. What I want to just remind everyone here is, and for those of you that haven't seen this video before or have not done my program, we know what the conscious mind does and we know what the unconscious mind does, okay? And we know what the conscious mind does the unconscious mind can't do. I just want to remind you of a very important thing. If you have cigarettes on your brain and you can't get it off, that where habit is right here in our unconscious mind. I just want you to remember that. Just hold on to that because I'm going to refer to it over and over again. Habit is a factor of the unconscious mind. It's an unconscious thought process. Okay, so let's get right in. So what is going on with these constant thoughts? Okay. It's really simple. It's a really simple concept in neuroscience. It's called association. That's what's going on. What do I mean by association? Okay, so there's a lot of definitions that are very technical in neuroscience. I've broken it all down for you just so we can just really understand in regards to smoking and association, okay? So association defined is really just what we call rutted or grooved thinking, okay? What does that mean? Okay, well it means the tendencies of the mind. Our mind creates neurological pathways and we tend to re-walk these same pathways over and over again. This is what habit is, okay? Something we do over and over again repeatedly. It creates grooved thinking, okay? Or rutted thinking. Okay, so where does this most usually occur? With our memories, with our emotions, and with meaning. I need to explain this one just a little bit, okay? This is how your brain works. Remember in that earlier slide, remember what was in the unconscious mind? Habit, memories, emotions, okay? These are all unconscious thoughts. All of this happens at an unconscious level. Your conscious mind, your thinking thing, has 0 memory. It is incapable of a memory, okay? It can't recall anything. That all comes from your unconscious mind. That's where memory is. So how does this work, okay? I'll give you a really simple example. You are driving down the road, okay, and you get out of a car, and let's say you're with a parent. And let's say that you get in a huge fight with your parent and you're a young child and your parent spanks you and accidentally pushes you into a rose garden. Okay, okay? What our brain does is it stores all of our memories, but it also stores with it all of the emotion and all of these other things and all the senses, the pain and the trauma, okay, of that experience. It stores them together, okay, and it associates them together. So what can happen is 10 years later, you're driving down the road with a partner and you drive by a rose garden and you smell roses and you're just in a bad mood for some reason and you don't even know why. What happened was your memory went to store the smell of roses in the unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind pulled out the smell of roses that you had associated with that traumatic experience. And it just kind of throws you off, but it doesn't raise it to the level of your conscious mind, other than the emotion or the feeling you just feel out. That's how our brain works, okay? That's rutted thinking or association, okay? So association is strongest when stored as a habit or trauma. It clumps it together and it kind of gets all glued together, okay? And the whole purpose of dreaming in REM sleep is to pull all that out and reorganize it. That's why sometimes our dreams are very vivid, or we have nightmares, or we have strong emotions. Our brain is trying to reorganize those memories in a more efficient way, often not successfully, but it is always trying, okay? So association is strongest when we have a habit or trauma. What do we know about smoking? It's more habit than addiction or anything else. We're going to come back to that in a moment. The brain basically uses association for shortcuts. It's about efficiency. It's one of the reasons why we're so successful as a species, is that we create association so we can do things that we need to continue to do repeatedly, habit over and over again. It's basically a shortcut, okay? So association basically acts as an anchor, okay? Something for our mind to get itself around. That's how it works. When we create an association through habit or through trauma, we make it very strong, like an anchor. And then our brain can always latch onto it or find it. That's how association works. It acts kind of like an anchor, okay? And association is automatic. You cannot help but do association. Your brain does association all the time. You do association unconsciously. It is so hardwired into us. So, I'm going to give you an example of how association is so hardwired into your brain that you cannot help but do it. You just do it automatically. Okay? Now you may notice I wrote over here, do not read this message. You read it. That's how our brain works. It does that because we have an association between words and reading. It just becomes automatic association. There's no way around it, is essentially the point. Okay, so let's talk specifically about smoking and association. Okay, some of the items on this list may apply to you, they may not. But the question is, what percentage of these things apply to you as a smoker? Okay, do you smoke upon waking, with coffee, while driving, on breaks, while walking, before meals, during meals, after meals, okay? When drinking, when watching TV, after sex, and what about when reading? What about social events, on the phone, before bed, going outside? Do you go outside all the time to have a smoke? By yourself? Do you smoke when you're on the computer, when you're playing games, when you're walking the dog, watching sports, relaxing, when stressed? Okay, and you can watch my video about smoking and stress if you want to get more clarity around this issue, okay? How many of these things do you do over and over again? Think about how many cigarettes you smoke a day. The average person is 25. Some people smoke 2 packs a day, they're smoking 40 or 50. Some people are half a pack. And you're doing it Monday through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 days a week, 365 days a year in, year out. You don't take a week off from smoking unless you're trying to quit. And you do it typically at the same time every day. You get in your car, you just reach for a cigarette, right? You have a beer with a friend, you just reach for a cigarette. These are things that we do over and over again. So think about this, really think about this. If you're smoking 25 cigarettes a day on average, the average smoker, how many of those cigarettes do you really enjoy? And I mean really enjoy, where you take it and you go, Oh, that cigarette is so good. How many? Most people will say 2 or 3 of 25 cigarettes. Most of the cigarettes we're smoking simply because we have an association or a habit. The reason why you can't stop thinking about a cigarette, even after you've quit for 3 months, is because you have given yourself a habit and an association over and over and over and over again. And every time you do one of these things, your brain automatically, even if you consciously don't want to, just thinks of a cigarette. That's why you're thinking of a cigarette. It's just association. It's really that simple. Okay? That's it. So I promise you, if you stay to the end, we would talk about the only known ways in neuroscience that we can actually change these associations. Okay? So the simplest way to explain this is you have to change your mind. You have to change your unconscious mind. Okay? That is really what has to happen at a neurological level. You have to break up and change these associations. There's only 2 known ways. One is called fractionation. Okay, what that means is, and this is a technique that we use in my program, okay, I did not pioneer this technique. I'm literally standing on the shoulders of giants. Other people have done this, but it's one of the key things to hypnosis. You cannot get rid of any memory. It's in your brain forever. So these associations you have over time created all of these memories of smoking and drinking coffee, for example, or smoking and socializing over and over and over repeatedly. To change a habit can take anywhere from 3 months to a year by doing something else repetitively over and over and over again. So what we do in fractionation is to speed that process up. Okay, we go in and we chop it up. Okay, we chop up the association because we can't get rid of it, but we can use hypnosis to bring the unconscious mind forward and chop it up. And why is that useful? Because what happens is you get the trigger, you're drinking your coffee, but because we've chopped it up, when the brain goes to turn around, just like in the example of roses, and it pulls out the big mass of all the trauma and the habit, it only can pull out a piece of it. So it acts like an echo. You're drinking your coffee, you get halfway through and you think to yourself, oh, wait a minute, I'm usually having a cigarette at this point. And that's it. It's like an echo and it fades. That's what we do in hypnosis. If you don't do the hypnosis, or you don't deal with it using a actual technique like fractionation, okay? Now, when I say fractionation, I just want to be really clear, because I know there are other hypnotists that watch my videos. I don't mean hypnotic fractionation, meaning that where you put somebody in a hypnotic trance and you pull them out. What I mean by fractionation is using hypnosis to take the association and to chop it up in the unconscious mind. That's all I mean, okay? So instead what happens is you turn around and your mind just gets the little piece of it and you just have this like echo, okay? You're not pulling out this big mass that goes, wait a minute, I'm usually smoking. Oh, is this a craving? And you have all of those associations attached to it. It can't grab all of those things. So it doesn't have that massive, strong pull on you anymore, okay? So that's one way. The other way is using your will. So people go cold turkey using their own willpower and they just quit over time and they just sort of power through it. Well, what are they really doing here? They're using time and repetition to build a new habit. That is the most difficult way to quit smoking. I know there's tons of people out there that have quit smoking using willpower, okay? It's about 6% of people. They're real people and they really did it, okay? 6% of people. Placebo is 12%. I could give you a sugar pill and you have a better chance of quitting smoking than somebody attempting to use willpower. That doesn't mean don't use willpower, please do. I'm just talking about how do we do this effectively and how do we make it easier for you. That's my point, really, okay? So the 2 ways. You can use hypnosis to chop up the association, which is what hypnosis is really good for, or you can just will it yourself using time. So you have to do it over and over again, 3 months to a year. You got to keep, every time you have a thought, I want a cigarette, and you have a craving, you have to fight it constantly, day in and day out. And time and repetition will change the association to a new association, okay? That's the hard way, and by all means, please go that way. It is for sure the cheapest way, okay? Or what you can do is you can pay somebody like me to do my program to speed that process up for you so that it happens literally inside 3 hours, okay? Those are your two choices. Those are the two ways. You can either will it, okay, yourself, or you can pay somebody to help you. It doesn't have to be me. There's lots of really good programs out there that will help you with these issues. If you like this video, subscribe to this channel, click the notification button, join my Instagram, join my Facebook page. I give away tons of useful information, and please comment below in this video if you have questions. I am happy to answer any questions you have. Just comment in the comment section below. And thank you for watching.